Beyond the scars is actually more like my personal story. 15 years ago, I was involved in an accident on my way to write my post UTME in Akure. And I was actually a student of Yaba Tech, studying architecture at that time. And I needed to transition from a polytechnic to a university because it's been in my mind that I had to have a graduate degree from a university and a recognized university at that. As at then, when you are feeling jam from, they'll tell you the topmost schools to apply to. And so FUTA was the topmost school as at then for me to study architecture. And so I had to forfeit two of the papers I had left in Yabatek then and rushed the one I was currently writing. And I made us, I wasn't the only one involved in it actually. A friend of mine, we were to write the exams together. And so it made me, you know, rush up one paper. We got to the park late because we were dropped off and we embarked on the journey. Lo and behold, we got involved in an accident. I don't know if actually you've heard that word where they call in Yoruba Begilodo. I really don't know the exact interpretation, but I know it has to do with those trucks that carry logs of wood. And so on our way, it was a multiple accident actually. I think it was a multiple collision rather. We had close like maybe 3 or 4 vehicles collided with each other, one there, one there. To cut the long story short, I woke up in the pool of my own blood, and I couldn't see. I was in a wheelchair for almost a week because I had stitches almost across my head. So the way it was done, I needed to be in a kind of position such that there's no strain on whatever was done, and it doesn't flow into my eye, so I didn't lose my eye. And so it was a lot of drama. The first time I had a, the opportunity to look at a mirror was a small broken mirror we found in the hospital, then the specialist hospital in Akure. And so when I looked at the mirror and I saw my face, I was someone that I didn't even have pimples. So when I saw my face with the scars, I was broken. I was shattered. Like I felt like it was all over. I didn't have my. And there was this particular lady in Yabatek then. I used to buy stuffs from her store. So when I go to her store, she would always compliment, "Oh, your skin is so fine. Your face is so smooth." So all those compliments subtly they had gotten into my mind. So the first thing that happened when I saw the scars was like I lost my self confidence. I lost my self esteem. I felt like I wasn't good enough again. I wasn't beautiful. I had scars, I had spots because it was not just the scar across my forehead, there were scratches and everything. And I was just a young girl, so I think I was just barely out of my teenage age. So it had a lot to do with my mind. I lost, I had a sense of loss of identity. Or how do we say that? I lost my sense of identity. And so down the line, let me make you laugh. I still did not make the post jam exam. When we were asked, I think they sent representatives from the school to the hospital to check on the students that were involved in the accident. I think we had 14 people die in that accident. It was I was told we were dragged out of under the bus along here and there. I woke up beside a dead body, and the only thing that happened was that the man, I think his teeth scattered, and that was the day I found out that there's actually life in even the teeth. So I think his teeth got scattered and probably he choked on it or something like that. So I woke up beside a dead body. I woke up in somebody else's clothes and not my clothes because they actually had to tear off my clothes. It was covered in my blood. So it was a lot of drama trying to remember those scenes. And the problem is trauma is so bad that you relive those sins unconsciously. For every time you come in contact with something that is so close to what happened, you remember virtually everything that happened at the scene of the incident or the accident. So I couldn't write the exam. They asked us to come for I think PDG or something like that. My dad wasn't interested. So my dad asked that we go back to Lagos immediately after we're done with the first set of the treatment. I think I spent a week and maybe a few days or so before we returned back to Lagos. When we had the accident, luckily enough for me, um, we had gotten to a particular place where we swapped seats. So I'm by blood group, I'm O negative. So if I had maintained, okay, there was the driver or the owner of the bus just got new set of glass. He was supposed to replace the windows by the around the bus. So I think that was the window that actually gave myself and my friend the major cuts that we experienced when the bus was stumbling. So when we actually got out of the hospital, they were like, we needed blood. But because of where I was positioned, I wasn't so injured where I needed blood. It was my friend that actually needed the blood donation. And if I was to be in that situation, I probably wouldn't have gotten an immediate attention as she did, because she was lucky her blood was readily available. I am O negative, so it's very rare to get people who actually have O negative blood. And my dad that had the O negative blood did not come to the following morning because they couldn't even make the scene of the accident. It happened late in the night. So it was a whole lot of back and forth. Got back to Lagos. I didn't know I was traumatized. I just got out of an accident. I just know that I survived. Everybody was thanking God. We had gone to church for Thanksgiving, the regular thing. So now the days after the accident is actually where the trauma lies. So you are in your room, you're sleeping, and suddenly you just slip into that dream world, and you begin to relive the scenes. You hear the sound of the honk, or you hear a car honking, and the next thing you are reliving those scenes. You see somebody that had a mild injury or a major injury, and you are there, you are reliving those scenes. So every little detail, every little thing that I saw reminded me of those things. And as at then, I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know, I didn't have an idea. Nobody had had an accident in my house whereby we want to know that there's something called trauma or a particular treatment to go along with it. So it took a while before I realized that it was trauma. I can't even particularly say this was the point in my life where I realized it was trauma. But I remember that I went visiting a friend and I wanted to cross the road. I crossed the middle of the road and I saw the bikes, they were just moving in an uncoordinated manner. I got scared, the sound of the horns, the cars honking on the road and everything, and I got confused. I lost consciousness and I started turning at the middle of the road. So I think the friend noticed. People saw me. I didn't even know what happened. It just came. They slapped me to regain consciousness. So it was the slap. I had to come calm, and I'd crossed the middle of the road. I was just supposed to finish the journey. I ran back. So a lot of things that a lot of people don't know. So the challenge is the victim doesn't know what is going wrong. The family or the loved ones of the victims don't know what is going wrong. Talk more of knowing how to help the person. So it's a lot of things that should be addressed or are not addressed because of lack of awareness. And so in the